I met someone and almost got kidnapped. A few weeks ago, I, 22NB, was talking to this girl I met on a dating app. We had met in public places and she was really nice. After a couple months of talking and meeting in public, she texted and asked if she could pick me up after work for us to hang at her place. I thought it would be okay considering I had been so careful up until this point, and she had never pushed a boundary. I live with my sister, and I texted her and told her I was hanging out with a coworker because I was embarrassed about using a dating app. I really don't ever do this kind of thing. All of my friends are online, and I don't know why I didn't tell her the truth. She picked me up and drove me to her house. It was a bit farther out of the way than I expected. My first mistake was not getting her address before agreeing to go. It was 40 minutes away from me. When we got back to her house, there was an older guy there. I thought he was her dad. It was a townhouse, and she had said she was in school and saving money, so I just assumed that was my second mistake. But I didn't think he was dangerous because he stayed away while we went to her room, or what I thought was her room. We messed around a little, barely touching but showing off my tattoos and taking off my shirt. That's when he came in the room, touched my boob before I really saw him, and I said I'm not comfortable with that, and put my shirt on. He apologized and said, "I'm going to go beat my meat." I just awkwardly laughed and said okay, thinking he was going to leave since he said he was going to go beat his meat and not stay and beat his meat. But he just pulled his pants down right there. I told them I didn't sign up for that and that I'm not interested in men. I was polite though, just in case. He apologized again and stopped, laughed it off, and told me he'd leave us, but I was too uncomfortable to stay. I told her I should head home and she looked upset but agreed. As I was gathering my stuff at the top of the stairs, he came out of his room and asked me to follow him in. I said no. He asked again and I repeated. He openly stated he had cocaine on him and told me that he would pay me to sleep with his girlfriend. I said no as politely and calmly as possible. I took a step back as he looked crazed and he said, "Don't think for a second you can outrun me. Get in the room and shut the door." I said no and he kept repeating it and threatening me. I ran. She was down by the stairs and she called him off like a dog. He went back in the room. She asked me what happened and I was nearly crying, barely keeping it together. I debated for a second that she was a victim too, but she had tricked me into going there for 2 months straight. She lied to me. I told her nothing, but she knew I was lying. She gave me $100 to cover the Uber. It was double what I needed and I tried not to accept it, but she didn't budge. She wasn't being nice. She was paying me off. That wasn't enough though. She proceeded to tell me that she couldn't let me leave until she was sure I wouldn't press charges. She told me she needed a pic of my license or SIN card before I could leave. She wanted my address, which I hadn't given her. When I said no, she called him like a dog again and he came running out of the room. I was out the front door before he got to me and ran down the street screaming. No one helped me. I got to a nearby hospital and called the police. It was all I could think to do. They had chased me to stop me from leaving and I didn't know if they still were, if they were getting their car to find me. The man was on cocaine and was so erratic and unhinged I was too scared to wait for an Uber alone, even in the hospital. Very small town hospital, only a couple nurses I saw. They just gave me a cup of water and continued what they were doing. The police gave me their number and told me they would call for a further statement. I didn't tell my sister, who I live with. I figured I didn't have to. They didn't know where I live. I didn't want her to judge me. I just wanted to hang out with someone that wasn't online, to date, and do stuff 20-year-olds do. But then the police called me tonight to get the statement, and the creepy 50-year-old man that tried to kidnap me texted me asking if he could apologize and ask me some questions. I told the cop everything and didn't respond to the guy. I'm going in tomorrow to press charges for false imprisonment and sexual assault from grabbing my boob. I didn't know if I wanted to press charges. I only called the police because I thought they were still chasing me. I didn't know if they would leave me alone if I said nothing, if I would get hurt if I did say something. But he texted me 2 weeks after it happened. She gave him my number and he texted me. They are still thinking of me and they have no idea I called the police yet. The guy texting me made me realize I had to tell my sister. I told her and I felt so fucking stupid. She pointed out every mistake I made. She was trying to not blame me and just teach me safety when online dating, but I felt so stupid. I don't do anything. I don't have anyone really. The first fucking time I use a dating app and the absolute worst happens. I thought only meeting her in public for 2 straight months was enough. I know I lack common sense sometimes, that I'm a loner and kind of a recluse. But this is by far the stupidest thing I have ever done. This girl was just so nice at first. She was sweet and funny and didn't care that I didn't want to meet anywhere, not in public for a while. I thought I was safe. I still want to date, to meet new people. I can't do that. I can't use dating apps. I'm genuinely so scared I'm going to live the rest of my life the stupidest, loneliest person in the world.